I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Sorry for a little bit of audio stuff. I've told you guys a couple weeks ago I'm having a little bit of problem with my microphone. I've got some new mics coming. Also getting a new HD recorder as well. Upgrading my equipment here after quite a few years of the same stuff here. So stay tuned. So this blog I wanted to do for a bit. It's on writing an offer subject to sale. Last time I did one of these was probably 7 or 8 years ago, so it's time to update it because there's a lot of things that people don't understand, a lot of I think, bad advice on subject to sale offers and writing a subject to sale offer. So from the listing standpoint, as you guys know, I'm more of a listing expert. I work with lots of buyers too, but probably 70% of my business is on the listing side. And I get offers all the time, every year, where someone will write me an offer subject to sale. So what that means is you can negotiate the price, they might have other subjects on there like financing and inspection and all that stuff. Those get removed. But the final subject, which stays on there for a prolonged period of time, is a subject to the buyer selling their home. And I can tell you guys, I pretty much will not look at these offers. I thank them for the offer, but we decline. And of course, I have to bring it to my seller. I'll discuss it with him and explain the pros and cons to this. There's very few pros as a seller to accepting us for sale, subject to sale. Lots of cons. So I will go through it, but we pretty much always turn it down. And I'll go through that here in a minute. You know, if you can write a subject to sale, so first I'll just tell you that most people that are selling a home are usually buying another home. So they're going to sell their 2-bedroom condo for $850, and they want to buy their first detached home for $1.3. Well, in a perfect world, and I get sellers that will always ask me this, they think, hey, oh, that's good. Let's go put an offer in on this house in the Victoria area here, or Victoria Drive, and let's write a subject to sale of our 2-bedroom condo. We haven't listed it yet, or we're just getting ready to list it. And that'll be great. We'll lock in a price here, lock down the house, and then it gives us a month or two for you to list and sell our condo in Yaletown. And I have to tell them that a couple of things here. A, if you guys are expecting to get the best deal on this house on Victoria Drive, it's not going to happen with a subject to sale, unless, of course, that house has been sitting on the market for months and months and months. And then you got to question, hey, what's wrong with this house? It's probably overpriced. Probably not the greatest house. But for a buyer to accept a subject to sale, you're losing a lot of your bargaining power. That's the first thing. The second thing I tell the buyers is that you may think you're locking down that house, but you're not. Keep in mind that all subject to sale offers will have a time clause in there. It's usually 24 or 48 hours. So the house is still for sale. The house is still on the MLS. If anything, what happens is that listing realtor, if he or she is doing their job, will then go to all the people that have shown that home or shown some interest and say, hey, I got an offer. A hot commodity here. I just got an offer, but it's a subject to sale, to try and entice them to write an offer now. Because those other parties are going to say, well, subject to sale, what are they selling? Oh, it's a 2-bedroom condo. They haven't even listed it yet, or it just got listed. So those buyers will know, hey, I got lots of time now. I got another month or more before they finally get an offer on that condo, get subjects off, and are able to remove that subject to sale. So if anything, it entices that listing realtor that you put the subject to sale on to bring some buyers in on it. So once they get another offer on that home, it's still for sale. The listing realtor is still plugging it. If they get an accepted offer with the subjects removed, they will exercise that time clause on your subject to sale. And you will have either 24 or 48 hours to either complete or make that deal go firm on this detached house, or you lose the house. Well, if you haven't sold your house yet, your condo, you're going to lose the house. The 24 hours or 48 hours is going to expire. Your offer will terminate. So think about it. You're giving up buying power. You're not going to get the house at the best price, and you're not locking in the house anyways. All you're doing is securing it for a 24 or 48 hour time clause. If another offer comes in, again, you're going to probably lose the house. You know, on the listing side, we turn these down in most cases. Now, if I've had the house on the market for 6 months and I'm having a real hard time selling it, we might have a look at it, but I want to know, what are you trying to sell? I just had one recently. Subject to sale. The offer was pretty decent, the price, but they were trying to sell a brand new luxury townhouse in the North Van in the Lonsdale area, and we're talking 1.7. And I took a quick look. Looked like a nice unit, but there's 8 others just like it, and a few that are even priced better. So I knew that this thing was not going to sell in any hurry. That's for sure. We could be waiting for this subject to sell for months and months. And it will deter some buyers from buying my detached house if I've got a subject to sale. Not all, but it could. So we turned it down, and it's a good thing. That was 2 months ago, and they're no closer to selling that townhouse than they were when they first wrote the offer. So keep that in mind, guys, with subject sales. In a perfect world, it would be great if you could do a subject to sale, but you're giving up buying power. You're not locking down the house. This is how you do it. This is how the pros do it, like I do. And I'm dealing with 3 of these right now. Someone comes to me and says, hey, we got to sell our house and I want to buy a new house. Okay, great. Priority number 1, I tell them, is to list your current home and get top dollar for it, maximum selling price. So we're not under the gun to sell quick. That's the other thing. Once you put an offer in and they accept your subject to sale, now you're desperate to get your current home sold quick. You have to, because you want to remove that clause. Well, why do it that way? Why not do it right? Prepare the house. I'll walk you through all the steps to make your home more marketable. That might take me 2 or 3 weeks. Get high quality photos, brochures, advertising. Priority number 1, let's do it right and get the best possible price for your current home. While we've got your home listed, we will keep a short list of homes that you're looking at. I'll have you out every weekend looking at homes, going through open houses. We will have a short list of homes that once we get your home, the subjects off it, we will pounce on these ones. So we've got a short list going. So the next thing is, once we get an accepted offer on your current home, I will do my best to extend those closing dates out as far as possible. Typical closing date on a condo might be 4 or 5 weeks. I will see if I can buy you some extra time, maybe a 2.5-month close or a 3-month close. I talk about this in my book. This is negotiating in 101, though. I always tell young realtors, if you want a longer closing time, and I see this mistake made by realtors all the time. You'll go and look at a home and they'll have the dates that they need or they need a long close. No problem. We can sometimes maybe meet that. But always let the buy side commit to that. It's like a poker game with the tells. It might fall right into your lap. In other words, before you tell them I need a long close on my listing, let's see what they want first. The realtor might say, hey, Owen, we like the home, willing to give you something pretty close to asking price, give you a good price on it, but we need a 3.5-month closing or a 4-month close or something, because the wife isn't moving out here until the end of May or something. I'll hum and haw and say, yeah, I guess, even though I want a long closing, sure, I think we could do it if the price is right. A lot of times it falls right in your lap with that. So never give that up first. But if they do want something like a normal 4 or 5 week close, I will say, listen, we need a little longer close because they need to buy another place. And that way it buys us some more time. Once we've got a firm deal on their current condo, now I'll try and buy them 2 months, 2.5, 3 months, whatever I can, to find a new place. And again, we've got a short list usually, and we can usually make it come together. From there, I'll kind of stagger the completion and possession dates. The completion on their current home might be, let's just say, April the 3rd, and possession isn't until April the 6th or 7th. That gives us 3 or 4 days in there between where we can put the dates on their new place as the 4th and possession on the 5th. So they get their money, close on their new place without having to give up keys on their current place. That can't always be done. It's nice if we can dovetail those dates in so they don't have to move twice or don't have to put stuff into storage. So it all comes down to, I've told you guys, all realtors are not created equal. If you're wanting to sell your current home and buy a new home, hire a pro. You've got to hire a really experienced realtor for this who can walk you through the steps here. But at the end of the day, it's a leap of faith is what I tell my sellers. You got to sell first, unless, of course, you're one of those few lucky ones that maybe you've got a clear title house. You can go to the bank and say, I want to buy a new house. They'll let you buy the new house first, move in, and then list your current home. But that is very seldom. Every year I'll work with a couple of those buyers, well-heeled buyers, high net worth, don't have clear title on their current home. They can do that and have the luxury of that. That's always the best. But most people do not have that luxury. They have to sell, get the money on their existing place before they can close on their new place. So it's a bit of a leap of faith, but as a good realtor can mitigate that as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I do tell my clients, it rarely ever happens. I think it's happened to me once in the last maybe 10 years, where we can't find a place after we sold your place that meets your needs. And what I tell them there is, rather than buy something that's inferior, you'd be better off just renting a furnished rental for a month or two or whatever until we do find the right home. And that is way better to do than to rush in to buy something that doesn't really meet your needs or at the right price or whatever else. You'd be far better off renting short term for a few months than buy. And I've done that myself, guys. I've sold a home, couldn't find what I was looking for, got a great price on my existing home, and I was fine to rent short term furnished for a couple of months until I found the right house. And now I'm in a position of power. I've got all the money sitting in my bank, could probably even write subject free on that new house now. I'm Owen Bigland. Thanks for watching. See you next week.